Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol AFRM for Affirm Holdings. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will, of course, be an update. However, we're going to start with a brand new daily roadmap, just coming in and pointing out the most obvious areas of support and resistance. Then we'll talk more nuance as we drill down to the 30-minute intraday time frame. So just pointing out some downside levels here. Note also that there is a large unfilled gap underneath about $87 here. Should take us for the fill down towards 73.71. I'm not saying that will happen tomorrow into early next week. I'm just saying, again, anything underneath 87, there's basically no structure to provide support, okay? From the daily perspective, in terms of candle structure, right, what are we looking at? Well, certainly a bearish engulfer, right? If we look at the range of today's session, so high up here, low down here, it certainly eats up or engulfs the prior day's range, the range before that, and a majority of even the day before that. So all things considered, a very bearish day out there inside of Affirm. Certainly getting a little bit of a lower wick, but we'll take a look at the lens, or through the lens, excuse me, of Fibonacci's on the 30-minute to determine whether or not that's significant enough to start, thinking about reversals here inside of Affirm. The last thing I would point out before we move to the 30 is this resistance trend line coming in from the all-time high, swinging it out, and boom, there's sort of our first contact. What you'll notice is we get touch one-ish, 2 really, 3-ish again, 4 really in here, and definitely falling off of that area at the open from today's session. So again, all things considered, the chart is fairly bearish. We did make a new lower low, and this is also a lower high from this cluster in here. For you longer term investors, it's probably not wise to get involved in Affirm until we can reverse this daily downtrend and take out that resistance trend line. Let's take a closer look at the 30-minute now, just to sort of assess how aggressive that lower wick was into the afternoon. And what we'll do is take out the fibs, again, coming in from the high of the day to the low of the first move, so that's right around in here. What you'll notice, again, there's that little bit of a bounce, but never even came close to your 38.2. That, of course, is a sign of strength from the sellers and a lack of strength from the buyers. We'll take that set of fibs off and instead come from the high down to the true low of the day, way down here. And what you'll notice is that, sure, on the attempt from the lows, we did get closer to the 38.2, but still, it's not like we have a dramatic candle close closer to the 50% mark, closer to those lows from in here. So overall, I would say that this lower wick is not significant enough to really start thinking about massive reversals to the upside. In the post-market, we're also closer to about 97 even, so we're slightly off of that closing print, a little bit lower, okay? So as of right now, what are the scenarios to be watching out for? Well, what you'll notice is that this 105 area is slicing right through a couple days worth of price action. Let's actually just focus on the lows from those days. So let's go ahead and grab the other tool. Here we go. So that is going to be kind of like the first changing point in my estimation on Affirm. If we can get back up and over, let's just split the difference there and call it 102.50. Anything above that, sure, we could start to retrace more of this emotional sell side move and get back closer to these highs in here. Now, that's a very short-term perspective, a scalper's sort of mindset inside of Affirm. Let's just throw that on with a technical level here. That's going to be closer to about 108.17, okay? So let's get rid of the fibs, sort of, declutter the chart, if you will, and talk in terms of scenarios. So, basically anything that builds out down here is just a massive 30-minute bear flag, okay? So you don't want to be involved to the long side, especially noting again that we do have that gap to fill underneath us. Doesn't have to fill, but basically no structure underneath 87. You don't want to be wrapped up in that to the long side, right? So probably stay away on the longs if we're just consolidating down here. Basically anything that holds underneath 100, the psychological number. It's also very close to where that 38.2 Fibonacci was. To the long side, if we can recapture this area here at 102.66 for some reason, your target is simply up here at 108.17, and then beyond that, it's all about the resistance trend line, which could potentially change the daily downtrend. However, there's no evidence of that as of right now. Very, very speculative in terms of thinking about that. So for now, really watching for bearish follow through, bearish consolidation down towards the lows. If you want to keep it really simple inside of Affirm, are we over 100 or underneath 100? That should start to answer your questions on leaning towards the bearish side or the bullish side. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.